The pull-up is a fantastic bodyweight exercise. The problem is though, it is also a feat of strength, so not everyone is able to do it. I have created the perfect program for you to get your first bodyweight pull-up. I will take you through all the exercises that you will need to get your first pull-up and the rationale behind them, and I will also link the entire program as a PDF in the description below. My name's Nikki, this is QED Fitness. Are you ready to get your first pull-up? Let's go. Firstly, resistance bands. They are a great way of progressing towards your first bodyweight pull-up, but I am going to assume that you don't have them, and as such, this entire program will be with no equipment. We are going to start right at the beginning. The very first thing that you need on your journey to a pull-up is the ability to hold your own body weight from the dead hang position. If you can't hold your own body weight from the bar, there is simply no way that you can do a pull-up. We want to be able to achieve a full 20-second dead hang before we move to any of the pulling components of the program. We need this endurance so our grip strength doesn't fail us halfway through the set. So all we have to do for this is to hang onto the bar with no other muscles engaged. This is what's known as the passive hang. If you can't hold the passive hang for the entire 20 seconds, break it up into smaller intervals until you can. If the problem is that you can't hold your body weight up at all, what you can do is grab a box or a chair and place your feet on top of it, so that will take some of the weight. Obviously, if you stand on the chair and let that take your entire weight, you are not going to be training your grip at all. So it's important to keep yourself honest and take as much of the weight as you can through your hands. Once we can do the full 20 seconds from the passive hang, we can move on to the next step, which is the active hang. The next step is to engage your scapular muscles. If you've seen any of my other videos, you probably know that I talk about the scapular muscles a lot. This is because they are critically important for upper body movements. The scapular muscles are the muscles that control your scapula or shoulder blades. So the very first thing that you should do in a pull-up is to retract and depress your shoulder blades or move them back and down. This will help align your shoulder joint to put it in the best position for maximum force generation. To do the active hang, begin by hanging from the bar. The best way to think about it is that you are trying to get your chest as close to the bar as you can without bending your elbows. The only way that you can do this is by moving at your shoulder blades or pulling them down and back. Resist the temptation of pulling with your arms. Make sure that your arm is completely straight throughout the entire movement. The goal is to raise yourself up as high as you can using nothing but shoulder blade movement. The goal for this, before we move on to the next step, is 4 sets of 10 with a 1 second contraction at the top. The next step is the eccentric pull-up. There's nothing weird about it. An eccentric contraction is just a contraction where the muscle is lengthening. The eccentric pull-up is just controlling yourself on the way down from the top of the pull-up. The reason why most exercises, including the pull-up, are easier on the way down is simply because you have to generate less force to resist gravity rather than produce enough force to overcome it, like in the concentric pull-up. An eccentric pull-up is simply controlling the lowering phase of the pull-up, jumping to the top and doing it again. If a full body weight eccentric pull-up is still beyond your strength level, you can do the same thing as before in that you put your feet on top of a box to take some of the weight. The most important thing with the eccentric pull-up is pristine form, so choose a difficulty level that you can maintain ideal form throughout the entire movement. Make sure that you are not lowering yourself too quickly, because the benefits of the eccentric pull-up come from resisting gravity, so make sure that you're lowering yourself down over 5 full seconds. Once you can do a full set of 8 bodyweight eccentric pull-ups taking 5 seconds on the way down, we are ready for the next step. Now, it is usually at this point that most pull-up progressions suggest you go from the eccentric pull-up and then attempt your first full pull-up. But honestly, that is too big of a jump in strength for most people. So what we are going to do to bridge the gap is the weighted eccentric pull-up. This is the missing step that a lot of people don't take, and it's the reason why so many people struggle at this last step on the way to the pull-up. So simply by adding weight to the eccentric pull-up, by holding a weight in between our legs, or even loading up a backpack full of books, this will help us smash the plateaus that a lot of people experience on the way to the first pull-up. The same rules as the bodyweight eccentric apply to the weighted eccentric. Control yourself down over 5 seconds and make sure that the weight is not so heavy that you sacrifice your form. Increase the weight over time as you get stronger, and remember, every single kilogram that you add gets you closer and closer to your first pull-up. And now we're on to the final step, doing your first pull-up. There is no right or wrong answer as to when you take the step from weighted eccentrics to your first full body weight pull-up. Maybe once you start to see some tangible strength increases in the weighted eccentric pull-up, you can attempt a full body weight pull-up at the start of your workout, providing you are fully warmed up. At some point, you simply have to try to do your first pull-up to be able to get your first pull-up. Take the leap and you will have it before you know it. So there you go. From start to finish, that is how you get your first pull-up. I will link the entire program as a PDF in the description below. I wish you the best of luck on your journey towards getting your first pull-up. If you happen to film it, post it on social media, tag me in it because I would love to see it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments because I'd be more than happy to answer them. My name's Nicky, this is QED Fitness, and remember, knowledge is power. Catch you next time.